All right. I think I said in the first video that I was gonna run through my album, but I just want to run through the songs that I want to run through, honestly, and work through those. So today I will kind of be breaking down my song, my single, Promises. And to date, this is honestly probably still one of, if not my favorite single. I'd probably say top three favorite singles, songs overall that I've done. I've talked about it a few times on my socials, but since I'm kind of doing this new sort of series split between YouTube and my social medias, I figured I'd be able to go a little bit more in depth about it. So I kind of explain the thought process behind it. So at the time, I think I started formulating this. I try to work on my songs about a month to maybe 2 months before they're actually released. So that's why sometimes you'll see me post videos like this and I'll be working on songs, but they won't come out for a while. It's because I work on things really far in advance, usually. Now I'm a little bit behind, but at the time I was like, I just want to do something really different because at the time I had just released New Roses, which was very reminiscent to my other song, Thankful for Me. I still my most, or maybe second most streamed song now. Um, and then, before that, I did do Come Closer, so that was something a bit different. But I was like, I wanted to kind of move away from like the sort of typical jazzy rap type of sound. I was starting, and then I was starting to work on the EP, and that was following a real rap heavy, jazz rap heavy sort of sound, besides one of the songs on there. But I was like, I want to do something really different. And at the time, I was listening to a lot of PinkPantheress, Outkast, and Tyler the Creator, which are three artists I still listen to all the time now. They're three of legit some of my favorite artists. Um, but like Tyler and PinkPantheress especially were very heavily influential in this. But PinkPantheress was really the one that this song was most heavily inspired by. I'm a huge PinkPantheress fan. Like I genuinely think she is fantastic, fantastic. She's just someone I really want to work with in the future. I had watched the video at the time, and it was basically talking about how with PinkPantheress' music, and it's something that still kind of influences my music now, like that I'm still working on. Um, and I always get the quote wrong. Again, I mentioned this before, but it was like something along the lines of, PinkPantheress' music sounds like you're reading through someone's diary. And I think that really stuck with me for whatever reason. That was heavily influential in this song, and that really inspired the context of this song. So I think that's another thing that gets lost in some of my songs is just the context. Again, I am very story driven. I'd say most songs, or at least message driven. But with this song, it was definitely a story stringing along. And why I say Outkast was kind of influential was that I always remember in Hey Ya where Andre 3000 is like, y'all don't hear me, y'all just want to dance, and that's what I took with this song. I was like, okay, I want to make a song where it's like you're dancing through the pain. Basically, it's like the song is sad when you're really sitting and listening to it. You're like, oh, this is kind of fucked up. But I actually go really in depth with this song on my website, so I'll try to remember to link that. But if not, it's linked on my socials. I don't know if it's on my YouTube, but I would just go check my website for even more in-depth explanation about the context of the song. But the song is essentially about, basically it's about just this dude who did this young lady wrong, like basically cheated on this lady, but he's like begging her, to get back with him. Like he sent this letter and he's like, yo, like I know I messed up, but like, I said kind of at one point in the song, you know, didn't mean to disrespect her, but we both know she's not your friend. It's like, she was the one that really did you wrong. Like we know she's not your friend. Like, it's not my fault. It's her fault. So don't blame me, you know. But really, as you're going through the song, you're realizing it's this really toxic relationship. As you get to the hook really starts after that first kind of intro. And the hook is, leave me again, don't leave me again, I broke apart. And it's really saying like, this has really been a toxic relationship. Like this is a relationship where these two have left each other and broke up multiple times, and this and that and the next. And so the core part of the song where I say broken promises can never save you like a shooting star is like, as many times as both of them really, but we'll say the main narrator, the main character of this story has made a promise to change, has made a promise to be better and this and that. It's like, these promises don't exist. Like that, you know. So that's what the song is essentially about. I want to get into the actual instrumental a bit. So with the song, you see there's quite a handful of drums here. So I was scouring and things of that nature, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to start with. I knew I wanted something very like dreamy, like, you know, I didn't really want, you'll notice with not a lot, but some of her songs, PinkPantheress songs, kind of have like guitars or maybe like harps or something like that. I wanted something a little different. So I found this like bell sort of loop that was, you know, let's see, I can play right here. I kind of chopped it up just so certain parts played throughout the song. So let's backtrack on what I just said. Actually, I did not have this first. I actually had went and effectively studied PinkPantheress and Tyler the Creators. I studied Don't Tap the Glass and basically all of PinkPantheress' music for like a week, just to understand the drum patterns. I didn't really understand the drum patterns of it. Like what gives it that groove that keeps it so up tempo. I mean, we're at 150. We're at a very high BPM for this song, but I didn't really understand how to keep that groove and to keep people interested and just like, I don't know, kind of moving in a sort of way. So I like wiped out what I had played in. And after like a week of just going back and listening to these songs, I actually had started with the drum pattern. But again, I needed a sort of bounce to keep the song, keep this rhythm to it, right? So we have this kick, I think, to start. So that's how it started off. And I was like, okay, now let's kind of get these two other things in. So again, the main gist of it is going to be my snare, my hi-hat, you know, just kind of running along with this, right? So again, something to give it that bounce. I have a couple of drops on the hi-hats, and I'll kind of come back to that because it plays into some other stuff. So yeah. Okay, but again, I won't say I'm like an expert or anything like that. Again, this is very just what I was able to scrum up after, again, like a week or so of really studying. So this isn't, you know, anything astounding. So what I did here, actually, I'll explain because I was trying to figure out what this was. So I actually, you see that these two, I can't really highlight them well, and I actually don't know what the camera sees very well. So I'll try to highlight them like this. But these two right here are the same hi-hat. But what I did with this one here, I took the hi-hat and just reversed it. And I kind of did it on accident because I thought I had a snare in here, and I realized I duplicated this. It gave this sort of bounce to the song where it's like, it's not like the hat is just dropping without it. So it's not like it's just dropping. It kind of almost takes the space of like a record scratch almost, right? So it flips that hat around. Right, you see that? And then I added this open hat, again, just filling out more of the song, so. It's hard to really explain, I guess, how I'm hearing the song, so I hope everyone hears how I'm hearing the song, but again, I'm going through this and almost re-listening to the song as you guys are. I don't remember everything I had in here. I wanna make sure I have this all right, but this is the whole thing. Again, I feel like I can't explain things very well. For me, a lot of stuff is like a feeling more than like being very technical. But yeah, it just hits. It's like the song trips down and then it kind of comes back with the hats. With this one, same thing. I had a regular hi-hat and I just reversed it because I felt like it added a different sort of sound instead of it's like it's almost like it almost reminds me of like, I wanted to say Darude Sandstorm, but I don't think that's right. But just kind of like some of those like older, you know what I'm saying, like almost electronic type of songs where they have so much shit going on, but then you kind of have this like, it almost sounds, it does sound like an open hat, but it almost in a way kind of sounds like a reverse like cymbal or something, or like a ride. But so there's like always something going on. It's like there's never really a moment where it just stops. And that's why I had to fill it out with some of these percussion instruments at the bottom, because with the hats, I dropped it, but it was like, I always wanted something happening in the song, you know? I added a couple of little things. Really, it's just all these little ear candy elements to fill it out, which, you know, I'll kind of just put everything together. But if you listen to really a lot of, like, you know, again, you listen to the song that I really took a lot of inspiration from off Don't Tap the Glass was I'll Take Care of You. Like, that was the song I wanted to really take inspiration from, because if you hear it again, especially once it breaks down, doom doom doom, like there's just always something going on. And then again, listening to a lot of PinkPantheress music, she'll just have a lot of little blurbs and things that play throughout the song that just again grab your ears. So I just wanted something to kind of, you know, you probably aren't able to pick up a lot of this stuff through the speaker on the phone and all that. I don't know what you can pick up, but yeah, just a couple of things to kind of fill the song out. So that's when I found the instrumental. Again, I wanted something very dreamy, yada yada yada. I played that already. So one thing I wanted to do that I sometimes like to do is if I don't have time in instrumental, I'll kind of just tinker with it and I'll just do something weird. It's very hard to hear because I have it turned down pretty low, but actually during the first hook at the start of the song, I actually layered the instrumental and it just, I threw on like a chorus, a reverb, EQ'd a little differently just to take it out of that same space. And then just, it's like, because the chorus is kind of wobbly in the background and it's something you don't really notice until it drops. But if you're just listening to the song, you might not pick it up. But I just like to, so it's something you really won't be able to pick up unless you're listening very hard because it's not very loud. I wanted it turned down pretty low, but it's something that I can notice. So, you know, that's kind of how I roll with it. And then I found this, I wanted like a little vocal sample because, again, Tyler had a lot of vocal samples. PinkPantheress uses vocal samples to a lot of her music. So I was like, I wanted something. I didn't really want to sample anything though because I have a fear of getting slapped with legal trouble and legal issues. So I ended up finding this just other little sample that I was like, okay, I can kind of, you know, splice this into the song. So you don't know, it really mostly just plays during the bridge. But then I also automated the panning so that it kind of like goes around your head because of where it plays in the song. I did, like I said, because it comes during this bridge where I also have my vocals kind of panning, I wanted the whole song just to sound like you're just tripping off some shit or something. That was the bridge, which is probably my favorite part of the song. I wanted something, I never really done like a bridge. I wanted something to, again, differentiate from the rest of the song and help me transition back to the hook. I felt like it was too, like, blunt, too strict. If I went right back from that verse, right smack dab back into the hook, I just didn't really like that. So, but yeah, that's where I get this, you know, this kind of bridge. And I wanted to do something that was like, again, I wanted something very melodic that a crowd could repeat. So that's why this is probably my favorite section of the song, even though I never really put it out on anything. But, you know, will we meet again? Will we meet again? Broken promises, like, this is the part where I want people to just kind of get up and start dancing. And that's where I wanted the energy to kind of like trend, like it kind of goes down a little bit from the verse and it's kind of broken promises. And then it, boom, like there's a lot of energy right at the second hook. So this is my favorite part of the song, really. Just so really the last thing that, well, the last couple things, but I'll kind of blitz through these, is during the final hook, you'll hear this ARP, this synth. This was kind of an accident, I'm gonna be honest with you. I found the synth and I was playing the note. Like the note was, it was supposed to actually be like one hit, like I had pressed the note, but the note was like locked to the point where it just kept playing the whole time. So really, it actually sounded like this if I take this off. So I was like, what is going on? But when I played it behind the song, I was like, oh, this actually doesn't sound entirely stupid. To me, again, it sounded really like something you hear in like an electronic or sort of like pop sort of song, you know, where at the end of the song, you're like, no, 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 like, I don't know, shit is going crazy, right? And I was like, oh, that's what I can do. So what I really just did was I knew there was a preset in Fruity Love Filter where it'll, I forget which one it is, but it kind of like oscillates almost where it just starts playing like I had it. And so it sounded like an ARP, really. It's really not an ARP, it's just regular synth, but that's just about it. And then at the end of the song, you'll hear I have, I think it's strings and a piano, which is basically the same same progression, but I'll play real quick. Because you hear the song starts with like my regular dry vocals, my, you know what I'm saying, how I just naturally sound. And I wanted that to be very intentional. It's almost like a different perspective. So, you know, all these damn broken promises, they lied to me, lied to my face, but like it just sounds like, you know, this is like the real voice talking, right? This is the real narrator talking, and even though he's still conflicted with himself, you know, he's saying you lied to me, even though he's the one that did this woman dirty, right? It's like his actual opinions, his actual feelings, right? And then it transitions to like the, oh no, like I'm sorry, all this is, you know, kind of apologizing and begging to be taken back. And it shifts to that sort of almost alter ego, that alternate persona. So I wanted the songs to be differentiated, or the parts of the song to be differentiated like that. So that's why at the end it kind of returns back to that. It's almost like a return to normalcy, like a coming down from that, you know, it's almost like a realization, like, so that's why I had the two separate sections. And I've explained this before as well, but the majority of the song was actually supposed to sound like the intro, where it's just my dry vocals. So all these damn broken promises, you lied to me, you lied to my face. I realized that just didn't make any sense. I was like, why would I do that? It just didn't really make any sense to me. So I think I was very afraid of doing something different, and I was like, shit, am I just kind of locked into like just like straight up like kind of like jazz rap, or just like a regular sort of like, you know, hip hop, sort of like not even like any sort of alternate rap or alternate hip hop. Like I felt like I was really locked into one style of rap, and I was really scared to do anything else. But as I was listening to all this music at the time, I was like, what am I scared of, bro? I'm like, it's my music, right? Like I can do whatever the fuck I want. And it's like, if people don't like it, they don't like it. So that's when I kind of got into it, because once I started writing that hook, I realized my natural voice didn't sound right on the song. So I'm gonna expose myself, I guess. But I think if I take Grayleon off, it sounds like this. Like my voice was just a little too deep for the song. I was like, I don't really know how, like, and I could have recorded at a higher, you know what I'm saying, higher pitch, but it just didn't sound right to me. So I was like, oh, why don't I do what, like, you know, Andre 3000 and Tyler have done, and just pitch my vocals up to sound right with the song. And this was the part that was the hardest, but I was trying to figure out how to pitch it so that it's still in the correct key of the song, which took a long time to figure out. I was not sounding right for a long time, and I almost didn't release the song because of it, but I needed to get a song out at the time. So that's how I ended up getting that sort of pitched vocal that. But I just hope that the love that I put into the song is felt. You know, you guys enjoy it if you listen to it. So yeah, appreciate y'all for sticking around if y'all listen this long. And yeah, I will try to catch y'all on the next one. I don't know when that'll be, but I will catch y'all in the next video. So yeah.